10 seconds. Welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to the AWD Smith channel. For the benefit of anybody watching on the VoD, I have an email. This is the continuing saga of my neighbor's 2000 Subaru Outback with all kinds of motor problems, which will probably get recapped at some point in the video. Suffice it to say, this evening we are doing head work, taking exhaust valves out, putting not bent ones in, and then doing the same thing to the head on the other side that I haven't pulled off the motor yet. How's up? Let's get started here. Fire up my tablet so we can actually see what's going on in chat. Kind of my super budget streaming setup. I may make a video about it at some point. Hey! And I get to watch an advertisement because why not? My own stream. And it's friggin' ridiculous weather. It's starting to cool off again, so I'm going to refuel this heater and light it up. Damnedest time. Finding funnels in this place. That's fine. Doesn't. Fun fact, you can differentiate kerosene and home heating oil with a suitably accurate scale and a suitably accurate. I'm gonna turn this down so I'm actually in view. I'm a terrible streamer. Suitably accurate beaker and a suitably accurate scale is kerosene has a density of about 8 grams per milliliter. Home heating oil has a density of about 9 grams per milliliter. And the reason that that's at all relevant is that I'm actually running 2 different fuel sources in this shop. I have a couple of these that are kerosene, and I have a torpedo heater over there that'll run on damn nearly anything. Kerosene, fuel oil, diesel, Jet A, JP1. These wick heaters, that's an injection spray burner. These wick heaters don't like to use anything other than kerosene. the moment, I only have one one container for fuel. Pumping out of the heating oil tank and for getting kerosene stored. Well, try this. This may or may not work. I'm gonna have to. There they are. Okay. So hopefully I won't. Well, regardless, I won't restart the stream because I forgot to test this before it started. What I'm gonna do here is switch that on. Switch that on. Let's get lights. Plug that in. Turn my volume up. And it's going to go out of focus because that's what it does. And, take this wireless microphone and I plug it into the camera. Walk over here. Talk into the wireless microphone. And I can tell already that it doesn't work. I want to hear myself. I'm hearing myself from microphone. So I may have to play with some settings on that. Which I can't. Apparently I can now mute the microphone. Sort of, anyway. At any rate, sound's not working. Cool. And my tablet turned off. Why did you do that? Why did you turn off the tablet? Connecting. Hello, Kicker Frank. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pull the microphone out of that, and hopefully the audio doesn't go weird. I don't know because I've taken my headset off. I'm gonna play with that another day. I think this is working. So hey, folks already, maybe even. Feel free to tell me if the audio's weird or anything. Broadcasting application is updated and I'm playing with external microphones and stuff and various and sundry. Anyway, so there's a lot of crap. A lot of carbon built up on that head gasket. That is a 2.5 liter. Attach that to the hammerhead. This is, I don't have any gaskets yet. I can, but this is just gonna be valve work tonight. I think. That's all I've got. If by petrol you mean gasoline, but yes, it is a petrol motor. Who's barking? Bark, bark, bark. Bark. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. Oh. 5-0's sitting out across the street again. I haven't seen them there in a while. Bark, bark, bark. There are very few diesel Subaru engines in the United States at the moment. They have them in Europe, I believe, but they've only gotten diesel Subaru motors in the States through sort of like a third-party importer. There's a few people who have done conversions. Actually, one guy that did a conversion and took it to Pikes Peak for the Pikes Peak rally, which he didn't come anywhere close to winning, but it's cool nonetheless. So yeah. Kiko Franca, I did see your message the other day. I apologize for not getting back to you until now. I use Twitch on my desktop frequently, but not under this account. I have a separate account for actually like watching things. That is correct, Predator. You have to, they're not actually importing whole vehicles. When I say that there's an importer, they're importing diesel, engines. So you can get, like the engines and a couple of the exhaust bits. I think they're turbo diesels. So you get like an engine assembly and some exhaust bits in the turbo, and I think an ECU that's specific to the diesel motors. But then you have to sort of figure out, mating it up to a transmission and putting it in the car. You sort of have to figure out on your own, as it were. But at any rate, so I'll try to meander through. In the middle. Let's start off by taking the other head off of this first. If I can remember the general gist of what you said in your message, I'll try to meander through that here. I'm somewhat prone to tangents, such as it is. It's not very useful or interesting. I didn't take that off, so I need a 10mm. So, if I recall correctly, you said this is Kiko. Don't really know what happened with regards to what. extension somewhere that I owned. Anyway, as I recall, you had a couple of questions as far as learning in general. Probably you're on a good start, you know, where you are here. Yeah, especially the message, yeah. Well, it came through as like a whisper or something, and not a actual message. So I didn't see it until I actually logged back in to Twitch under this username. But that's neither here nor there. As far as the your sort of general question as to, you know, learning more about it, you know, personally, I have a chair. Why am I squatting? I have a chair. This is what I mean about going on tangents and interrupting myself. I eventually get around to the point, but it takes a while. Alright, so, I don't know what country you're in. You said it was a 74 Nissan, some description, which I did look it up the other night, and I guess it could have been either, I think in that year it could have been North American market or European market or what have you. So I don't know, right? Dobson from somewhere else. Massages. My phone's somewhere. It's not going to get stepped on. As far as learning more about it, I mean, this kind of thing is certainly not a bad start. Like I said, I don't know what your country is. I don't know what your time zone is. You know, what your Portugal. Try that again. Portugal. That's cool. One more. Yeah, I did. They do look kind of interesting. They look kind of similar to some of the older Subarus. I guess other sort of Japanese cars of that era. Yeah, that would certainly make a neat project. But as far as learning, I mean, you're on the internet already, so that's a pretty big start. There's huge amounts of free information online, given that you take with a grain of salt as to the quality of the information that you're looking at. But there's a number of streams here that you could ask, sort of watch and get a general idea of how things are done, and even ask specific questions. I think there's a Discord server for the automotive sort of community on Twitch that you can go and ask things. But I've always found that, and I hope the audio's coming through okay tonight. Let me know if it isn't. I've always found that the best way for me to learn how to do something, or to learn how something worked, is to do it hands-on. Take it apart, look at the insides, put it back together, hopefully. That sort of thing. Although I remember you said it had transmission problems. That's a bit of a tough nut for to crack for being new. Is that the longer one? The longer breaker bar and head adapter and head bolt socket. Pop these head bolts off. Where was I? So as far as yikes. Crunchy. I don't know what Portugal has to offer as far as what we'd have as a community college or night classes in the States, something like that. But I know that here we have some schools and training that's more geared toward people that are going into it as a profession. Whether I don't know whether or not that's applicable to your situation or not. But there's also in the States anyway, depending on where you are, I know that there are also some so like I say, sort of like night classes or weekend classes or something like that caters more towards do-it-yourself kind of things, which maybe something like that might be more towards basic maintenance and stuff, not necessarily pulling the transmission out and doing an overhaul, but I digress. So it may behoove you to seek out if there's any educational things in your area that you can take advantage of. Specifically with your vehicle with the reverse problem. Let me ask you this, because that will sort of help to narrow it down. So you say it'll go into everything except reverse. I guess I should preface that with, will the engine run at all? So that's the first question. Does the engine? You may have mentioned that in your prior message, but I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember specifically. So the first question is, does it run? Because that's important to the next troubleshooting step. And if it does run, if it doesn't run, you're kind of stuck as far as it does run. So the head bolts on the other side looked pretty decent. That's got some crust on it. I'll have to. Absolutely terrible lighting. Where is? Hang on a sec. Whoop. There we go. Turn on the camera LED. That's pretty crusty. Probably a good thing we're doing head gaskets. Where was I? So it does run. Good. That's a start. So what? Oh, you don't know if it runs. Okay. So that makes it a little trickier, but I had a older Ford pickup with a 5-speed manual that also reverse didn't work, which is why I was able to get it for $500. I dropped the transmission out of it and found the issue and fixed it. And that one, if I put it into reverse, that head bolt is like out of the box clean. That's weird. It's a good thing that we're popping these heads off here. And so if the engine was shut off, I could put it into reverse and hold it there and start it, and it would kind of stay. Was it reverse? Yeah, it was reverse. So it was fifth. Who cares? But no, it was reverse. And then it would pop out. But then once it was running, you couldn't get it to go back into reverse. So if it's not running at all and it still won't go into reverse, it's probably going to be a kind of similar problem. Right. Is it a 5-speed transmission? So I guess might not be relevant for that. I don't know. Obviously I don't know off the top of my head how a 94 Datsun, transaxle is arranged. But maybe I'll have to tear apart the spare trans I have sitting in the shed as a demonstration sometime. So, in case you're not okay. So the 5-speed in my truck had fifth and reverse on the same rail, sort of. On a 4-speed, it would probably be separate from the main shaft. So yeah, mine ended up being. Probably still have the parts from that kicking around in here somewhere. So my truck with the reverse problem ended up being that the dog clutch, I think, was damaged, And so the gear itself was fine, because if it's a, which by 1974 it should well be a synchro constant mesh transmission, because that thing is a 77, and the transmission and it didn't change from the late 50s when it was designed, and that's a synchro mesh, allegedly. So yeah, it should be a constant mesh. That one's perfectly fine. What's the deal with this one down here by the EGR port? Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it was starting to have a head gasket leak. So the gears themselves don't actually move in relation. I mean, they rotate in relation to each other, but they don't move apart in space in relation to each other. They are constantly meshed, hence the constant, synchronized, constant mesh, synchro mesh. So when you're shifting, and I apologize if anyone, if you already know all this, but it helps me work through the troubleshooting in my head sometimes on something that I don't do regularly, and you may not know either. But so all of your gear sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if applicable, reverse, are always meshed with each other. So you have, an input shaft and an output shaft, or you'll have an input shaft and like a counter shaft and an output shaft, and gears on the input shaft meshed with gears on the counter shaft all the time. They're just not always coupled to the shaft that they ride on, if that makes sense. It'd be a lot easier to explain this if I actually had the things in my hand. But basically, if the transmission is neutraled out, all the gear sets are decoupled from their respective shafts. So they have bearings on them, and the shafts are still spinning, but the gears are just sort of rolling on them. They're not locked into the shaft. So then when you shift, there is a dog clutch, which is a sliding ring with teeth all around it. And on the gear set, we'll have a synchronizer ring that's brass and special and works as sort of a clutch to spin the gear set up to the same speed as the rest of the transmission when you're shifting. So you have internal teeth on this sliding ring and external teeth on the synchronizer ring and part of the gear. And when you move, and the synchronizer ring, or the clutch ring, the selector, the dog clutch selector ring, is fixed to the shaft, to the shaft that the gears are riding on. But it can slide back and forth, but it's fixed rotationally. And so when you go into gear, you are locking the internal teeth to the external teeth, and thereby locking the gear to the shaft. So probably what happened with my truck, and possibly what's happening with your car, is the teeth on the dog clutch got damaged, just from, in my case, partly from wear and tear, and partly from Yay, coolant. Partly from poor design. And damaged the teeth so much that where to set this. Damaged the teeth so much that they would no longer engage when they were spinning. And depending on if there's a lubrication problem or a wear and tear problem or some other, maybe there's some particular issue with the design on that transmission that they have problems with fifth gear. So very likely those the teeth on the dog clutch are damaged, and that's why you can't actually shift it into gear. Unless it's like a shift fork problem, depending on how the gear sets are actually arranged. It could also be a problem with the actual selector part, because there are rails and forks that the forks ride on those dog clutch rings, and you select them with the gear stick, and that's how you slide the dog clutches onto their respective gear clusters. Yeah, that could do it. Race damage is the best kind of damage? I don't know. Maybe. That's interesting. Huh. It seems likely that and that's going to be front wheel drive, so it's going to be a transaxle. There's probably not going to be very much in the way of accessibility with it in the vehicle. So unfortunately, transmission problems, you're probably going to have to pull the trans out and actually pull it apart and see what the problem is. It's likely that it's going to be either one of those two things. Either it's it's either going to be shifter linkage or the actual gear set. But something that you might want to do before you go wild and start pulling stuff apart. Research is always good. So, and in this day and age with what with all this internet we have, it's entirely possible that there is some sort of an enthusiast community around. Well, I mean, there's enthusiast communities for damn nearly anything. I mean, you look, take Subarus. There's, Dirty Impreza, Nasioc, at least a couple of Outback forums that I know about. So, I mean, there's all kinds of resources for that. The 151, there's an enthusiast forum for the 151s. So it stands to reason that there is a community of enthusiasts who are interested particularly in, Datsun 100s / Nissan Cherry. So it probably, before I would tear into anything, without being able to see it firsthand personally, that's interesting.
I have this on this other side too. I see what that's there for.
So it might behoove you to see if there is a Datsun 100 forum or some other sort of, maybe a general old Nissan community, something like that, and and ask them, somebody that's likely to have specific knowledge of your vehicle and your issue, and they may say, oh yeah, it's they're known for this, or they're known for that, or check this thing and this thing and this thing. It's hard for me to say specifically without doing gobs of research. I can sort of speak in generalities, but not much than that. Yeah, so this was out of time. The last couple of times somebody's tried to start it. So it seems that those cutouts are only for the benefit of the intake valves. As you can see, the little marks there where the exhaust valves hit, and we already knew about that from... Whoops. Crap. Pulled the battery out. Already knew about that from bore scoping it and pulling the other head last week. You got same little marks there, and the bent valves on the head there. That we'll get to those in due time. But yeah, so the exhaust valves we know hit. It looks like on the number 2 cylinder, it looks like there's carbon knocked away from those cutouts. And look at this guy. I think there was just enough carbon built up in those cutouts that it displaced it when the intake valves tried to open there. But fortunately seems to have saved them from being bent, so that's a good thing. That's good. That's a start anyway. Now you just have to find one for the transmission. Man, that is all kind of cacked up. Oy. I'll get that cleaned off at some point here. Oh, I have legs, I swear. And I gotta get these pins out at some point. At least as many of them as we can. So, yeah, I see what that scoring on the outside of the cylinder jacket is for. It's for the case bolts that hold the block together. And another one down there is just not able to cast them perfectly, I suppose. So they machine away what they don't need. That's interesting little mark right there. Have to clean these up a little bit. I may clean all the cack off of the heads and see if I can. I don't have like a super phenomenally true straight edge, but I'll definitely take a shot at checking the straightness on that. These surface-wise looks in pretty good condition to my eye, so I was going to... I have a glass plate over here that I can put abrasive paper on, but they don't look nearly as bad as that Gravely head that I was working on last summer, so I may not have to do a whole lot with heads. Yes, if you can find a shop, a shop manual or a service manual for the transmission, that would oftentimes, well, for certain, it'll give you like exploded diagrams of everything, hopefully. But it also may even give you some troubleshooting procedures. If it doesn't do this, check this thing. All right. Hoping to reuse these bolts. Why that one's so rusty? Perhaps it did have a head gasket leak that was starting. Either that or there's passage from the water jacket through to that bolt hole, but yeah, I don't know. He has got a he's got a block heater now. Classic. Well, let us carry on. Let's get a little bit of play in it. Yeah, I may have to order one of those yet. That shouldn't be too much. Better to be safe than sorry. I'm not super worried about the water pump, but I've already had one of these sprocket idlers fail on me before. Rather that not happen to my neighbor on a motor that I rebuilt for him. So, yeah, I may go online tonight and see where I can get one of those expedited. That must be a real tiny motor because this is a cell phone. Right, so I need to learn how to take valves out of things, because I haven't done that yet. But it's the first time for everything. 2.5. 2.4. You get that idea. That's 2.5 out of a, well, allegedly out of a 2000. It just says 2.5. Yeah. The car that the car that it's going into is a 2000. The car that it came out of is a 2000. But it's not the original motor to this car. This car had the original motor got oil starved and blowed up, and somebody tried to put this in and did it badly, and everything's fucked up. Pretty much. So. I'm going to put... that's... The hammerhead's really not square at all, is it? Oh, fine. Just sit on the vise. Yeah, it may well have a... it may well have some sort of a miniaturized little focusing motor in it. It's going to be very tiny, very flat. Burp. Irritating thing. Hey, I may have an answer. Haha. Is anybody's who's in here? I am going to indulge myself briefly before I continue. Tasty. So we were talking, some of us, previously and on Demon Machine stream over lunch. Yeah, absolutely welcome to comment and stream. It's... yeah. I don't know what kind of equipment you have lying around, but like I said, I'm streaming off of a cell phone, so you know, if you have decent internet and a cell phone and something to hold it, you know, you can definitely get started. But some of us were talking about potentially streaming a little bit of gunsmithing work here on Twitch. And the terms of service and all that are kind of vague, so I sent an email out to them and asking basically, you know, we'd be doing stuff like, you know, cleaning them, taking apart, you know, field stripping, you know, what have you. So I sent an email earlier to the creative Twitch email, and just got this back. I don't think there's anything sensitive there. So, thank you for sharing your interest in broadcasting this content, which is I basically said, you know, the TOS and the FAQ are vague with respect to firearms, e.g. gunsmithing, cleaning, maintenance, etc. You know, would that be prohibited to stream? I got back. Thank you for sharing your interest in broadcasting this content. Unfortunately, gunsmithing would not be currently allowed on Twitch Creative. So, there's that. Shear bolts. What do you mean shear bolts? Taking valves apart. Taking heads apart. Taking valves out of heads. Oh, yeah. Just to, I mean, and let me say this, you know. Twitch can set what rules they want, right? I'm not upset about, you know, oh, you know, that's my passwords, I won't show you that. Alright, you know, that's fine. You know, it's their living room. They can set the rules however they want. But, I may have to bring out some decoration out here, though. We'll leave that for another day. See if anybody spots it in the background. Alright, as far as making something fully auto, that's a machine gun. Piece of string. And an M1 Garand. And that's a machine gun. So, there you go. That's how you get in trouble with the ATF or your local firearms law enforcement agency. Refill my cooler. At any rate, back to automotive stuff. Ping! Yeah, that is fun. Just one of the many fine firearms that you won't be seeing from me on Twitch. Because, as you saw it, das ist verboten! You... Also... I think I am gonna find some cardboard to put down on my workbench here. Just a little bit, don't need much. I'm going to... here it is. I'm going to pick up this head. There you go. Oh, put it down. My day job is this. That's why this is a side job. Because I'm not doing it. I'm doing it at home and not doing it at work. I have done head gasket jobs on Subarus before at work, but I don't usually. I mostly do suspension, steering, alignments. Hello, Rotax. V-gates. Shit. Lose my head if it weren't bolted on. Yeah, so counting. Monty Python tells me that that's very exciting. Or perhaps not. Chartered accountancy. Anywho. Yeah, so this is some work that I'm doing for one of my neighbors. Because I have the skill and talent and knowledge and the room to do it in my lovely two-bay pole building that I, moved in here 2 years ago and promptly filled up with shit. Yeah, so I have the knowledge and the skill mostly, and I wish I could mostly surf the web at work. Which I probably do far more of that than I should, but there you go. Okay. Longer ratchet. Where was I? Yeah, so like I said, I have, the skill, knowledge, facilities, tools, etc. And neighbor needed work done. So I went up and looked at it and said, yeah, take a crack at it. I am on the East Coast, southeastern Pennsylvania. So, just... yeah. Well, my old apartment, I had half of a 2-car garage that was probably about a third the size of this building, and for a little while, and then I was renting. This is at a farm, by the way. I was renting a half of about, say about a 40 by 80 maybe like 35 by 80, something like that. Pretty big pole building. Not insulated, which this is. Gravel floor, which this is concrete. No heat, no windows. Great honking big doors. I mean, I could have pulled a 5-ton truck in if I had one. But, and I had a lot of room. At that point, I had my Jeep and I had the tractor back in the corner there. And I will admit to being a little bit of a pack rat. I'm not a hoarder, I don't keep like 80 years worth of newspapers and this, that, and the other thing. Those look pretty good. Looks pretty good. Well, at least it's had oil when it's been beating its exhaust valves against the top of the pistons. So I need to find a box or something to start organizing all this stuff. We have to do some rocker adjustments. Yeah, I know. I've been keeping myself in check. I swear. Every now and again, I get a gigantic freaking. I gotta burr up my ass and go and do mad cleaning, and then I settle back into going through the scrap pile at work, and this broken thing could be useful. I'll take it home. So yeah, I mean it's not as bad as it could be, but it's not nearly as organized as it could be either. I could have this amount of stuff and have it organized better and get rid of some of the detritus and be in a little better shape. But I need boxes, preferably clean ones. Hey. What have we here? Boxes. big as I need, but there we go. Take the parts out of this one, take the packing material out of this one, and use that. So we will take this box, and we will put the rocker shaft. The rocker shaft in the box to protect it from harm. Now, tip this up on the intake side. Yeah, I got this. This is mostly Matco stuff. We were pretty much entirely Snap-on at work, but yeah, I got this back when I was a student, so I could get a student discount, and borrowed some cash from my folks to do that. Fortunately, most of the stuff I need at work is provided by the shop, because, like I said, I do mostly alignment work, and we have a alignment pit instead of a drive-on rack. So. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're gonna get for 1980s hard drives there. But, hey, picked the right one the first try, maybe. Unless I want that one. I think I'll use that one. That fits on the top of the container just fine. So. Too much shit on this bench. Yep. So we've got that depends on. Do I need to use? I'm gonna need to use 2 of these. So I had like a Lazy Susan or something. So that crossbar fits through that piece like that, and threads into one of these. I guess it doesn't really matter which one. And there's a pretty big difference between, this stuff is cool, and why am I keeping a small pickup truck load of boxes, cardboard boxes, in my garage? Thread that up, and that should work from there. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in my shed that I really ought to scrap. Thread that in some more. Need a camera with a wide angle lens or something. I need pliers. as far as getting tools, there's, I'm not going to say that there's nothing good from Harbor Freight. There is some stuff that's reasonable. But I mean, I've gotten stuff from Amazon before. I've gotten stuff from like Lowe's or Home Depot or things like that before. So and you don't necessarily have to buy everything at once. You can get like I need I need a second breaker bar for this job. Drive out to Lowe's, $25, whatever, get a breaker bar. Okay, so that end is sat on the bottom of the valve. That is set on the top of the valve. And my engine hoist and that engine stand are both from Harbor Freight. I have like a 4.5-inch angle grinder around here somewhere that's only bit me twice. That's from Harbor Freight. So press that till we can pick the little brass guys in there are the valve keepers. We'll press that, and I used to own a pair of needle nose pliers, and I haven't the faintest idea where they are anymore. Pain. Ouch. Yeah, that's a fair way to go about it. There's half of the valve keeper. And there's the other half. Now, be able to just wind that sucker back out. What the email? That was just the issue with that style of spring compressor is a little crossbar falls out all the time. But well, so far it works pretty well. Snap on back. Whew. Goodness. You can see, this is something that, it's not going to want to focus. So, like I said, I do mostly suspension work at work, at my day job, and something that one of the things that you have to do doing alignments and suspension work is looking for bent parts, from accidents and whatnot. And we had a couple of local body shops send us stuff over pretty frequently. We gotta find bent stuff, and sometimes we gotta sometimes it's just one of those lovely Pennsylvania potholes, and I gotta fix it before before it goes to the body shop, if it even goes to the body shop. And one of the things that you learn to look for with bent parts is turn the light on that. There we go. Is called either paint popping or rust popping. So when you have a suspension part, that's it's painted or the paint's worn off and now it's just rust. If you bend it enough, the metal will bend. The paint or the rust doesn't want to bend, and it will pop off near to where the bend is. So we see here that there's you have all the carbon built up on here, and then there's that spot right there where it's all popped off. And this may be difficult to show on the camera, but that's right where it's bent. That kinda, it's not in focus, but you can kind of see that it's bent. Neato! I haven't seen a pothole repair crew get stuck in the pothole yet. That's classy. I know what I can use this for. Maybe. No, it's not going to work very well. If I were saving the valves, I'd do that, but I'm not. Yeah, potholes and groundhogs is about what we got out here. Need like something multi-compartmented or something flat that I can lay this stuff out on. So I kind of want to keep the valve springs and keepers and all that. Did I get the valve seals yet? I may not have. You know what? I bet I don't have the new valve seals yet, because I think they're coming with the head gaskets and stuff. I think my neighbor will be happy if it runs at all sometime this decade, because he's been waiting on it for nearly a year and a half. No, unfortunately, this one's going to be a stalker. Keep it stock. I think, what have I got out here that I can keep this stuff arranged with? Piles and piles of garbage, none of it useful. I'll be back shortly. Just gotta look around this mess. See if I got anything useful, multi-compartmented. Yep. I don't know what that was, but it was a light bulb. 194. Don't know what it was doing over there. But it's broken now. Good for it. Hey, here's something. See, it's not hoarding if you find a use for it eventually. I knew I'd need these jam jars sometime. One's empty. Check on it. Son of a bitch! Jeep parts. I freaking bought 5 new ones of these because I didn't know where this was. Here it's sitting in a freaking jam jar on the shelf. God damn it. Oh. Never fails. I wish my car had a turbo. Chrysler barf? What's Chrysler barf? Right. You're referring to the Jeep? I'll have you know, sir, that was designed by Ford and built by AM General. So Chrysler had dick all to do with any part of it. Not that you're wrong, just that you're wrong. You're not wrong about Chrysler, but you're wrong about the Jeep in question. It's not a Jeep. It's an actual military Jeep. So this will be, so this is the right side head. I'll find a Sharpie. So that would be cylinder cylinder 3. Call it the rear valve. No need to differentiate that it's exhaust or intake because we're only taking the exhausts out. So that's cylinder 3 rear valve to cylinder 3 front valve. Yeah, I look at all the dig through all the parts I got here, and so we got that. Hang on a second. I gotta check my email. James 807, thanks for following. And also, who else followed this evening? Joel, I think, did. Welcome to this thing that we got going on here. Let me... Yeah, I'm pretty sure... Yeah. So I have head gaskets, intake gaskets, and a set of valve so yep. Don't have valve seals new tonight, so won't be able to change those yet till I think I should have them tomorrow. Right, so, carrying right along. Let me finish labeling these jam jars. Yeah. Cylinder 1. Rear valve. Unfortunately, I only have 6 of these. Front valve. I'll have to find something else to for the other head. Time travelers. Anyway, we shall carry on. Valve number 2. Should really clear off my that metal table I have on the other side of the shop. Do this sort of work on that. I don't have to worry about getting oil on the bench top here. I'd probably set up the camera better. Live and learn. Tyler, is which a 4-cylinder? The one that we're working on or the Jeep? Although actually, with the exception of my lawnmowers and my Outback, everything that I own now is 4-cylinder, and actually everything in the shop right now is 4-cylinder. What's a 6v6? What's a V6? There's no V motors in here. If it's not a boxer, it's inline. Got a flat 4, and there's an inline 4 in the tractor, and there's an inline 4 in the Jeep, and there's another inline 4 lying on the ground over there. But my Outback, there's no V motors here. We have no use for V's. No, this is a working on a Subaru tonight, and tomorrow night, and the night after that, and Sunday night, and maybe again on Monday, depending on when the last of the parts get here. It reminds me, I should Damon. Loading ready run went live. More Civ 6. Okay. Yeah, I should. Inline 6. Do. It was company band, I think. Let's see if. See if Twitch is hip enough to mute this. Let's see if I can actually pull it up on my Fuck's sakes. The company band. I'm pretty sure it was company band. Yeah, there it is. Why couldn't you find that? Honestly. There we go. Probably come through terribly from the mic there, but who cares? Doink. Tyler's following. Thank you, sir. Invalid login. $20? That's robbery. $40. $70. I may just leave it on there. That kind of price. Holy cow. Oh, my back. Look at the viewer list. Yeah, Demon is here. Damon. Wow. There's a musical interlude. Well, I saw how friggin' ridiculous that little idler sprocket is. $20 from Rock Auto. Jeez. Whoop. Criminy. Yeah, there's... Whoop. VTEC on a Subaru? It is not VTEC. It is nothing even remotely related to VTEC. It's not even... what's the word? Yeah, no, it's not even any kind of... There's no variable valve nonsense on this whatsoever. PZEP. The spring compressor actually works pretty decent. It's gonna be the rear valve. One more. Bloop. Yeah, that one's... Look, Mom, dancing. Yikes. Criminy. Turn them into sculpture or something. Pro Unstoppable. This is a Subaru. These are bent valves. That's sitting on garbage, but yeah, no, they're bent. Bendy. All frickin' 8 exhaust valves bent. And some dude tried to start it up while it was like 8 teeth at a time, and then skip town. Oh man. New folks, oh, you're gonna have to do a recap. Long ago and far away, a man known only as some dude. Or some guy. Were we calling him some guy or some dude? Yep, I think we're calling him some guy. Tried to do an engine swap and fucked everything up. That spring compressor doesn't work half bad for a like a $25 kit off of Amazon. Noch einmal. Wah, wah. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Now, I'm going to leave those seals in there until I have the new ones to change. You would think that, and my understanding is they used to do, but I guess on these Phase 2 motors they decided, it's too much. And, well, I think you were here. Were you here earlier, Omega, when I was taking the other head off? because it actually does have relief cuts for the intake valves. So it won't, or at least you have to. It either doesn't. It either won't hit the valves, the intake valves, or it has to be like even further out of time than this one was before it'll hit the intake valves. Because it does have cutouts on the pistons, but not for the exhaust. And I mean, this is a case of not so much that it's that the belt broke and well shit, should have gotten it changed in time, but of somebody put it on 8 teeth, yeah, right. So it could have been worse, right? It could have bent the intake valves too, and we'd be doing them. So we should count our lucky stars that we're only doing exhaust valves on this. My neighbor should count his lucky stars that he's only paying for exhaust valves. Not, all of them. But I digress. Need another box for the other head. What's in here? I think this is all the stuff that I ordered before I knew it needed heads. Yep. Right on. That's going to be the flywheel and belts and tap and all that happy nonsense. Paint thinner. That's not filthy at all. I don't want that. Oh my goose. That's worse. Fuck sakes. Burning EJ25 key wrecked. That's right. This one had a CV boot leaking on it. Yuck. That head? This head? Ta-da! There it is. I'm watching the stream, so that'll be delayed for you too. So. There it is. Oh, it's leaking. Thought I drained all that out. Clearly not. Oh well. Oh well. Oh, the schmoo. You know what the antidote for antifreeze is? Whiskey. Just not to say that you should go out and drink a bunch of antifreeze and then drink a bunch of whiskey, but just that it is. This one will do from this side. I gotta redo the those intake valves there. I think they look like they're sealed. So that's right. I need more jam jars. Damn it. more jam jar, I would be happy. Don't think I'm gonna get it. Oh, here's one. Fantastic. Don't know what this hardware is from, so it's a fair guess that I'm never going to put that project back together. But I do need this jam jar. So, jam. And salsa con queso. And more jam. Actually, in reality, sit there for now. Actually, in reality, I could have used one of these things. Too late for that now. I will put the bolts in it because, you know, that way I don't need more jam jars. Where'd my Sharpie go? Social eating. Yes, we are pretend social eating? We're pretending to eat jam? I don't know. So this is going to be 2 and 4. So we'll start on this end again, even though it's the opposite end of the one we started on the first time. Doesn't matter. Cylinder 4. Front valve. This one is cylinder 4. Rear valve. This Sharpie's wearing out. That's a fair point, Dan. These are what I had to hand, so they clean up easier, I think. And this will be... no, that's wrong. That's cylinder 2. Okay. That's fine. We'll just save those. Cylinder 2. Front valve. Cylinder 2. Rear valve. I could probably just number everything and make a little chart, but... long run, it really doesn't matter. I just kind of want to have things going back in the spots that they were. And call that that's going to be the right hand rocker bolts, and put the left ones on that side of this little empty plastic multi-divider box. Which, if I'd remembered I had it in the first place, I would have just put everything in that, but I didn't, so I'm not. Do I have a Snapchat or something I can send a pic to? I do not have Snapchat. Could you do that on Twitter? Potentially? I should probably like swing by the one of the dollar stores or the Ollie's or something and pick up a bunch of that jars and stuff. But don't have a Twitter. Okay. I was thinking about making a Facebook page for my channel here, and haven't gotten to it. also don't have a Snapchat, so that's not a thing. Well, I have my Facebook. I don't have, but it's my personal one. I don't have anything. I don't have it linked to this at all. I was thinking about making a separate page that was, AWD Smith instead of Adam Smith, because, wow, that's black. Fair enough. Can you send me like a private message on Twitter? Or not Twitter. You don't have Twitch? And put a link in there. Oops. Yeah, that sounds a mite embarrassing. Hate to be responsible for that. Where am I gonna put this rocker? I would suggest just chucking it in an email to me, but I don't know if my email is publicly available on Twitch. You will go in this box until I have a chance to clean you up, and I will label you. E-brake, chocks. Yes, it is a single cam. Correct, sir. It's leaking freaking oil all over the place. I really should have done this on the metal bench. God damn it. Left hand. Rocker. I can spell. So the one that isn't labeled is the left hand. Or I could just go back and watch the VoD. It just died and the brakes wouldn't work. That sounds like a fun ride. Or not, potentially. Depending on your point of view. I've actually been out here for a while. Not a whole lot to show for it. Talking too much. Yeah, I think if this were a dual cam motor and it had crashed the valves, I'd actually have to be taking the camshafts out. Fortunately, it is a single cam. You can, if I turn the camera, hey, look, one thingy. Fortunately, it is a single camshaft with rockers, so I can just pop the exhaust rocker off and knock all the valves out. Win-win. Wiener. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Celebrating freedom. Okay. Let's see, tomorrow. Am I expecting any parts tomorrow? Well, you know, now that you mention it, now that I think about it, I am curious as to what freedom you're celebrating. Was it you? Did you drive the truck into the pond and get laid off? I'm sure it wasn't. Hey, that sounds like a win-win, I guess. Phew, phew, phew. Woof. Yeah, I can't say I've experienced that myself, but I could imagine how that would reduce your stress levels a bit, you know. Right on. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow evening or not. I might, cause I went out after work today and got the tags for my Outback, the 6-cylinder one, and I'm going to take that into work tomorrow and do the inspection and align it and change tires on it and all that happy stuff. So depending on how my day goes, if I end up with work to the end of the day, you know, I might not be getting home until all the beer. You go, dude. Drink all the beer. Pro, Unstoppable, and Flying Frosh are following. Feeling dank. Where was I? I was right. So I figure I've got at least an hour's worth. You know, if I really bust my hump, I've got at least an hour's worth of work, maybe an hour and a half after I'm done my work. Can I have all the beer, please? How much? All of it, please. So I am expecting some more parts for this tomorrow, which will include the valve seal, so I can finish with the. I think I've been here for 2 hours. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to lap the valves tonight. I'm not going to pull the old seals out tonight. I am going to get the rest of these removed, and I might just do some puttering. You know, maybe put the flywheel on in the clutch or something like that. But yeah, so it might be, depending on my workload tomorrow, it might be a little later until I get home and I'm able to get set up and stream and whatnot. But if not tomorrow, then Saturday for sure. We'll see. See how it goes. Okay, I'll bite. What is a TIS-TOS sensor? I'm going to guess a something in something something and a something out something something. But I don't know what any of the somethings are. But I'm going to guess that they are a common failure item for you on transmission input output speed sensor. Okay, yep. And let me guess that they fail often, make the machine not work worth a damn, and are hard to get to. You can tell me how much of that is spot on. Cylinder 2 front valve. Pretty much everything, yeah. That's what I thought. That's usually how it is, you know. This thing fails all the time. Then the machine doesn't work worth a damn. It takes me 5 hours to change it. Doink. Sounds about right. Pretty typical magnetic reluctance sensor. You know, not probably well, I mean, it's no different than any other speed sensor, I suppose. I don't have a transmission anymore. So no limp mode, huh? Sort of all stop. That's the front valve, yeah. Should at least give you the opportunity to, you know, reduce the power, and can I at least like drive it back into the building under its own power at, you know, 2 miles an hour? Yeah. It's kind of like the not exactly like it, but like some of the GM trucks that forget how to idle if you disconnect the battery, and it'll start up and then it'll die, and it'll start up and it'll die. You gotta sit there for like, you know, sometimes it's only 30 seconds, sometimes it feels like longer, with the throttle cracked before it, oh, that's right, this is how idling works. I remember. High temps, low fluids, and DPF burnouts. I don't hear a lot of happy people with regards to DPF. This stuff is expensive, and or it sucks. Actually. Alright, moving right along, cylinder 4 front valve. DPF is a diesel particulate filter. So on older, basically, diesel is. I'm sorry, I got to it before you, Ribbit. My bad. But it's basically pretty much what it says. You know, when you know the way that diesels run and what they run on, it ends up being very sooty. and that soot is mostly, big carbon particulates. And in the push for cleaner and cleaner vehicle emissions, you now have pretty much like all new diesel engines, because there's like lawnmowers and stuff that are diesel that have DPF now. I mean, not like small lawnmowers, but big lawnmowers. You're sort of like subcompact tractors, like the 3-cylinder Yanmars and stuff have Kubotas and whatnot. Like everything has DPF now. And basically it's catalytic converter like. It's not exactly that, but it looks like one from the outside, and I think it's kind of similar on the inside. Although I don't, I'm not a diesel tech, so I don't. I've not had to have a particularly intimate understanding of how it actually works, but the long and short of it is that it collects particulate matter in the diesel exhaust and burns it off after a while, and to clean, sort of a self-cleaning filter that'll do something with the fuel injection and burn off the stuff in the DPF, and stuff can go wrong with them. And I think, from what I understand, stuff often does go wrong with them. And no one likes them. This don't even work better last longer than all the old stuff. 60. I gotta buy a new car every 6 years, but at least I don't have to do valve adjustments. Yeah, you all know what these look like by now. Bendy, bendy, bendy. So much bend. I don't think this head were quite as badly bent as the first one, for what that's worth. Much. Speaking of old shit, it's a 1956 Ford. If I put gas in that, it'd fire right up. And then I would also suffocate, so I won't do that. Ooh. Right. Where were we? I can eat some candy. Because I can. Because I brought it out for that reason. Nom nom. You're not supposed to delete those, I thought. Do any of your trucks have urea injection too? Or is that just for on the road stuff?
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Gotta keep the shit running, I guess. That's rocker bolts. This goes in the box. What are those valve seats don't look too bad. She'll be right. I think. Damn, I'll hope it will be anyway. Alright, you can sit there. That's filthy. More where you came from. I kind of remember seeing DPF cleaning equipment in some of the industry rags, but it's not really our bread and butter, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Right. What else? Well, I would put the flywheel on, but that would be a little tricky as to how it's sitting on the stand. So, yeah, I think that's gonna have to wait. Yeah, I think that's gonna have to wait until I get it back on the crane. Unfortunately, no matter. Bunk. Plugged into the battery pack and the thing still freaking doesn't charge fully. Ay, ay, ay. Paper towels and some Ford 460. $460 is in cubes, or $460 is in something else? Other way. By the way, I don't remember if I had an opportunity to say yet. I got a case of those Black Mamba gloves. They're pretty nice, actually. So thank you for that. I think that was you, Ribbit. Include me into those. If not, then never mind. Yeah. That's not right. That sucker hadn't moved since it got put in the box. That's pretty. How'd that happen? Yeah, I'm doing a tensioner, and the belt looks pretty good, so I'm going to reuse that. I'm doing the tensioner. I'm debating. This doesn't feel bad. It's got a little smidgen of play on it, but no, this one had oil. The one that it replaced didn't have oil. This one was just out of time. The oil is, but this one looked kind of gungy in there, where the piston comes out, and I've had these fail before. So I'm getting a new one of these. I'm kind of still debating whether I'm going to try and the 460. Oops. Yeah, engines like oil. In case you hadn't heard. Try injecting some grease into those. It's fine. Dirty slippers. Not much at the moment. We're working on this side job for the neighbor. At the moment. I don't know when you were here last when we were working on that, but it needs brake work rather badly at the moment. Yeah, I took it out to a car show, well, to a Cars and Coffee a couple of weeks ago, and got there late and didn't feel like parking in one of the auxiliary lots, so I turned around and came home, and I broke the speedometer cable, so that was fun. So I couldn't. Okay, yeah. I'm suitably impressed that you were Let me try that again. Suitably impressed that you were able to identify it. So that's good. Yeah. So like I said, I've only had it registered and on the road for maybe like a month now. I've taken it up to a Cars and Coffee, and I've had a brake pull with it like since I've gotten it, like 7 or 8 years now, and it's noticeable if you're like in a parking lot or something. It's really pronounced if you're doing like 45 miles an hour downhill on a steep grade towards a yellow light, and one of your wheels is locking up. So, yeah, that's once this thing's done, gonna be doing some more with this. There's gonna be wheel cylinders and and a speedometer cable, because I had that routed wrong and broke that, so I got the I got the trans cover loose here. Pulling the old speedo cable out. I gotta change that once I get parts in. And then wheel cylinders and hoses and brake fluid flush, and hopefully it'll stop nice then. Run the new one yet? Did I run the new one yet, Dan? It is uncut, as it happens. Or at least if it is cut, it's not cut in any way that I can determine. Let's see, if that's a re-weld, they did a hell of a job. Oh, speed cable. No, I don't. I haven't ordered a speedometer cable yet. In fact, I haven't ordered those other things either. Brake lines. So I got to order them yet. But probably gonna finish this first and get paid, and then have money, and then spend it on the Jeep. Yeah, thanks. I'm pleased with it for the most part. There's little odds and ends that still need to get worked out, like speedometer cable and the brakes. And, I'm debating whether to try messing some more with the carburetor myself, or just sending it out to have it done. You're right on the nose, Dan. Yep. So hopefully I can find some more side jobs, because this is actually kind of nice. You have stuff to do and people to talk to, and the prospect of, making some cash. But, yeah, so that's the plans at the moment. But I'm expecting the head gaskets and intake gaskets and valve seals tomorrow. I already have the new flywheel, and the new clutch kit. And what else have we got? And the tensioner, I'm not sure. It might come Monday, or it might come Saturday. Yeah, I've had this. I've had the 151 for. Yep. Yeah, EJ25. A long and sordid history, which get into at some point. But yeah, I've had the 151 for, like I said, like at least 7 years. Got it when I was living in an apartment on a farm, and wasn't too hard to get it running. And I've just been bonsaiing it around the barnyard, and moved up here a couple of years ago, and just like I said, just like last month I got it on the road. Finding out little issues that need to be worked out, like it doesn't want to idle all the time, and brake pull and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to looking forward just to be able to take it out and drive it, and shows. We have a big World War II show in the area that in the summer that I volunteer for, and I'm well aware that it's not the correct vintage, but I'm not a reenactor either. I'm I'm outside the fence. So, but, looking forward to be able to buzz around with it for that. Those screws go to. Anywho, I am just about out of parts for to do anything else on this. I have valves, but just as soon bag full of valves. Look at them. What's that? Fistfuls of valves. Go ahead. Drop the brand new valve on the floor, wise ass. I'm not a junkyard. These all run, I swear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ow, 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 ow. Throw it on the floor. Oh. Yeah, I got to, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm, one of these days, and you're seem pretty familiar with the 151, so I'm sure you know that paint job on that model is a little bit of an anachronism. It's a 77, by the way. But the paint job is probably not correct for the year it actually is, but meh, you know. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get either a decal kit or a stencil kit for putting numbers and unit markings and all that on it, and I'm gonna figure out something that's semi plausible for my dad's unit when he was in the Army, and letter it up for that, which would probably still, yeah, it won't be totally accurate to anything that he had in his unit, but be even a little bit more of an anachronism. We were talking about it the other week, and he said his battery had, the CO had a 151, and the entire time that my dad was in the unit in Germany there, the commander's Jeep was in the shop because it had been dropped into a ditch and damaged. So they had a medic assigned to them from the headquarters battery who had his own Jeep. So whenever they needed a Jeep to, run out and do payroll and stuff, they just sort of borrowed his. At any rate, it did have some markings on it when I got it, and I have pictures of them somewhere. It had a couple of names on. Well, it had a hood number. I wonder if it had the hood number on the hood. I know it had the hood number on the windshield. Don't think it had the hood number actually on the hood, because it had vinyl decals on the dash and on the windshield frame for the vehicle, NBOSJD, the vehicle number, which is all letters, so figure that out. And it had like Sergeant somebody on the windshield, and it had bumper markings, but they were, like I have pictures of them somewhere, but they were really hard to read. You know, given that it's a really, really late A2 and it's not cut, I mean, you know, who knows? You know, I kind of wonder if it didn't get surplused and exported and then surplused and re-imported. But I mean, that's entirely speculation. But yeah, and I think probably if I wanted to, that's just rattle canned on there now, and so I mean I could knock the paint off it that I put on, because I didn't take any of the paint off anything that had numbers. So conceivably I could sand my paint off of it and get back down to the original stuff for a lot of it. Some bits and pieces I did. I think I sandblasted like 2 pieces, and I used a sanding disc on a bunch of the hood, and then I got entirely sick of doing body work, and just primed and painted over the old paint. You know, cleaned it up a little bit, and then just primed and painted over the old paint. As I will, if I haven't mentioned it already, I will mention it. You know, occasionally, that I do not like body work. I am not a body man. I am a suspension tech. Sometimes I do engines, but body stuff is not my cup of tea. Yeah, so it looks a fair sight better than it did before I painted it. Yeah, I will. Most of the pictures that I have of that, I put on a flicker. Now you see, I can get behind that. You know, auto body stuff, not so much. I have a Flickr account that has most of I don't want to install your app, thank you, just take me to the website. Let's see if trying to debate if I want to just link to it or if I want to go and remove any potentially sensitive information. I don't pictures of my cats. Jesus. Yeah, I think I might just I might just take the cat pictures out and have it as just vehicular stuff. Yeah. Strangely enough, there's not like hundreds and hundreds of views on any of these pictures, but there are more views on the old shitty Jeep pictures than they are on any of the cat pictures. You know what? Fuck it. I have nothing to hide, nothing to lose, everything to lose. What's that? Huh. It is an AM General. Yes. 77 is Ford. Ford only made A2s until like 71 or 72 or something like that. Alright, hang on. See, stand by. That's fine. The real Jagliano. Following. Thank you. Keep in mind, this is a positively ancient account. Shame incoming. That should work. Yeah, but I am pretty much out of stuff to do on it yet, so I'm probably going to be winding down. I usually stream for about 3 hours. It's almost 10:30. Well, it's almost 10:15. Yep. Okay. Cool. That works. So, pretty much everything is in albums. You know, all the way at the bottom is the 151 restoration. That I think I may have some other in progress shots that are go into the albums, and then there's an album that's just the 151. Although there are other 151s that are not mine in some of the Red Ball albums. So there's the 151 restoration, the Cat, Red Ball 09. Wings and Wheels is gonna. That's in the wrong album. That's supposed to be in Aberdeen. Yeah, that's one of the Cats. Tiny pictures taken with ancient camera long ago. My other black cat is just named Black Cat. Yeah, this Red Ball is turn the heat up a little bit. That's the I think, well, no, somebody else asked. I don't think you were I don't know that you were here that early. Dirty Slippers. But I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania, hence why you'll see a couple of Red Ball Rally albums from Gilbert, PA, and the Aberdeen. Let's see, 1994. I was 9 years old. I went to Aberdeen one year and saw the show there, and then went to the Ordnance Museum and did it in exactly the wrong order. I was there with my roommate, and we did all the outside stuff, and then we went inside like 10 minutes before the building closed. But you could still wander around and do the outside stuff for like another hour. Today I learned I'm 2 years older than Ribbit. Yeah. And then, let's see, what other albums have I got? So, yeah, Aberdeen and the Ordnance Museum. And Wings and Wheels, which is a local little thing. It's, Big 3-0 is not all it's cracked up to be. Yeah, Wings and Wheels is a local thing that I also volunteer for a charitable organization out here. Another Red Ball, restoration shop. Yeah, I still have the ROPS. It's mostly in my shed. That was a. Do I have any of the? Yep, I have pictures with it on the tractor. That was it. I cannot express to you how much of a gigantic pain in the ass that was to remove that ROPS kit. Holy shit. My roommate then, that's the that picture with the tractor, that's the old two-car garage I was talking about earlier. And my roommate there worked at the farm just up the road, who also owned the farm where we had the apartment and another one. So he brought down one of the farm tractors one day. We chained up the back of the ROPS onto the bucket, and I beat the ever-living shit out of the rear quarters. And it finally let go. Oh my gosh. There's a couple of pictures in there of the rear quarters. I eventually I ended up having to patch over the those quarters. They were beat up so badly, and I haven't gotten around. I'm not a good enough body man to fabricate a new fender top for myself, and I haven't spent the money to get the repro fender tops that that are available. Yeah, it was not a bad paint scheme, but you notice there on the right rear fender how it's all the paint's all stripped out and it's all rust. The foam padding on the ROPS on that side and a lot of the battery cables looked like they had been on fire. So I kind of think it had like a battery fire or something at some point. I hope you're not going to shame me into repainting the damn thing. That was a friggin' chore. I like painting about as much as I like body work. Ugh. Yeah, I'll be happy when it drives like a nice mutt, too. Not quite yet. Oh, someday. I was happy that I did get the heater back in it, so just once I fix the focus. It is focused, there we go. Yeah, fair enough. I honestly, I had gotten a can of this semi-gloss OD back when I started working on it, because even then I was like, well, my dad was in the Army in the 70s, or early 70s, like 70 and 71. I'll see what they would have been painted then, and do it up like that. And personally, I think that this color is a little bit of an acquired taste. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the look of it now that it's done, but when I first was looking at it, it's like, okay. It's kind of a strange green color. A lot more brown than green, really. But I'm reasonably happy with the way it turned out. Given my skill level and amount of patience. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a dirty bird, and it's almost 10:30. So now's about a pretty good time to wrap that up. And see what tomorrow brings. Yep, that's I think it would have been correct into the very early 70s, which is why I did that. At least from what the chart on Rapco parts says, that should be kind of the right color for the time. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy with it for the most part, except for it not breaking in a straight line. All right, hey, thank you all for coming out and hanging out and chatting and all that. Back again maybe tomorrow, depending on how my workday goes and how soon I get done with the stuff I got to do on my car at work. If all goes swimmingly and I can get here and get fired up, 7:30, then I'm expecting more parts so we can continue on with the valve work and the heads and all that. Otherwise, and help Ribbit celebrate his freedom. Otherwise, sometime this weekend, keep plugging away at it. Whether that will be for sure Saturday or Sunday or not, but one or the other of those days. Well, possibly both. There is a fair amount of work yet to do on this. And don't really want to put in like a 12-hour day on Saturday, so might get as much done as possible tomorrow. Get 3, maybe 4 hours done Saturday, and come back and maybe be ready to sling it in Sunday evening. And whenever the timing belt tensioner gets in, we'll determine when we can get it fired up. So, all right, stream is over, and I'm not on my computer now, so you don't get a fancy stream ending thing. I'm just gonna wander around and turn the lights off, but we're done. Go to bed, or whatever it is in your time zone. dee, 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 dee.